Okay, in this video I want to talk about fossils. Now, we can learn about our past by looking at things like historical records and electromagnetic radiation from the early universe, right? So the cosmic microwave background. And we can use fossils as well. So what are fossils? Now, fossils, by definition, they're the preserved evidence of past life, usually found in rock, special types of rock, okay? And that can be the actual remains of organisms, so it could be insects trapped in a type of sap, right? Could be different parts of an organism like teeth and bones, right? So, example, teeth, bones, actual remains. And I'm sure you've all seen stuff like insects trapped in sap, tree sap, called amber. Actual remains trapped. Example, insects in amber. Okay, sap, tree sap. So that's fossils. So what's the study of fossils? Well, it's called paleontology. Paleontology, okay, is the study of fossils and fossil record from all over the world, and it provides evidence, which provides evidence of continual changes in life forms, okay? That's what the records show. Now, who are the people who study paleontology? There's a special type of scientists called paleontologists. Okay, these scientists study the reconstruction of the past using fossils and rocks. Okay, I don't think I worded it correctly. They're basically scientists who reconstruct the past by using fossils and rocks, basically in a nutshell, okay? And what's a fossil record? Well, a fossil record is basically the total number of fossils that have been discovered. Okay? Total number of fossils discovered and how to derive them. Okay? And also their relative age. Here's an analogy. So a criminal record, right, contains all the information on conviction, say, on charges and stuff like that. Okay, and it can tell certain coppers or detectives, let's say this criminal was caught by Sergeant X in location Y. Okay, same thing with fossils. You can learn a lot about where they come from and how old they are. Okay. Okay, now I want to talk about the formation of fossils and how they form. Okay, so here's how they form. Okay. So quickly covered by sediment. Now, sediment is basically rocks, okay, pieces of rocks. Example, rocks and other materials like sand. Quickly covered by sediment. A dead organism, so a dead animal, can be preserved, okay? You can actually prevent it from decaying and dying. Decaying and getting torn apart by nature. And this usually occurs, at the bottom of a water reservoir, water storage, okay? Example, ocean, river, and lake. Okay? They basically cover any dead organism lying there. Now, so the sediment it builds up builds up slowly, and natural cements form. Natural cements and the drying of sediment. So all of these processes turn organism into a sedimentary rock. If you go back to Year 9 science, sedimentary rocks are made of sediment, okay? Made of pieces of rock and other materials. Okay, so gradually the sediment builds up and you get different layers, and eventually the organism solidifies. Okay, a mold or a cast is formed. Okay, this a similar thing can happen on land as well. You know, when it can happen on land when the wind, say, blows sediment all over the place. Now, how does the organism get exposed, and how do people discover them? Well, okay, things like erosion and movements within the soil. Erosion and movements and within the soil and rock can then expose rock layers containing fossils, or could bring them to the surface. Okay, it's worth mentioning that fossils are always found in sedimentary rock, okay, not igneous, not metamorphic, but only sedimentary rocks, okay? So erosion and movement, so the earth being dynamic as it is, you know, changes in the earth, in wind, for example, can expose the rock, okay? Let me draw a diagram to show you pictorially what's going on. So let's say we have a dead critter. So let me draw some water here. And this is the ocean floor, right? That's the ocean floor, or the river floor, whatever it is. This is water, H2O. Let's say you've got a dead critter here, like a snail. Okay, with time, you'll get different layers, okay? It's called sediment layers, forming over the organism. So here's the critter. And after millions of years, so after millions of years, the Earth's crust may then actually thrust a layer of sand, of sedimentary rock containing fossil upwards, okay? So here's the water, and so here's the critter. The critter can move upwards due to the Earth's movement, the crust, Earth's crust movement, okay? So it can end up here instead of here on the bottom. Here's the water. And eventually through weathering and erosion, as I mentioned, weathering and erosion. Now, erosion, remember, erosion is the gradual destruction of something. Okay, weathering is the moving of wind using to move stuff everywhere. The critter eventually makes its way up over everything. Okay, and let's say the water might actually end up drying up. The mass of water might end up drying up. That'll leave with dry land, and that'll leave the critter on top.